All right, in this video, I will be demonstrating how God has used President Trump's arraignment in Manhattan as a prophecy that is pointing to the predicted date that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan. There is another video on this channel, the Trump indictment video, which regards the prophetic signs surrounding and including his indictment on March 30th. His arraignment was on April 4th. This video is about his arraignment. Make sure you watch the other video also. It is also amazing. The arraignment of President Trump in Manhattan by the New York District Attorney in Manhattan is a prophecy from God that is predicting that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan on April 13th, 2023. And there will be a massive evacuation of Manhattan Island. It is also likely that the official narrative in the mainstream media that will emerge regarding this event will somehow be a lie. The date that this video is posted proves that this prediction was made ahead of time, as does this timestamped email and forensic notes PDF. If you are skeptical, please email me and I will forward these to you. As you can see in this email, this prediction was known since at least February 22nd. I'm just going to read from an email that I wrote to some friends. You would figure that we would receive a prophetic sign 9 days before April 13th, the date it is expected that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan. The reason why I am saying this is because the number 9 is the most important number in God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, as from the Bible it symbolizes God's judgment. Especially since this date, which is 9 days before April 13th, is the date 4-4. This is because God uses this to point to the 44th president. There are many prophetic signs on the date 4-4 in history, which are explained many times in other videos. But I'll just say it goes back, well, we're talking about Trump in Manhattan, so why don't we also mention the fact that the World Trade Center Twin Towers officially opened on the date 4-4 in 1973, and the basketball president, the 44th president, that wore jersey number 23 in high school, this date 4-4 in 1973 is exactly 23 years after the big 4-4 date in 1950, which was the day that the UN Trustee Council officially recommended in their report that Jerusalem be made an international city. The biggest transgression against God's will that is described in end times prophecy. The body of representing the world that the Antichrist, the 44th president, will lead. And this Antichrist, the 44th president, will be in Jerusalem soon in this regard. And so the world will gang up on Israel and make Jerusalem an international city. And that's why this 23 exact weeks connection to the World Trade Center officially opening. And through this connection identifies the Antichrist that will be leading this world organization, the UN, in this dividing of Israel and making Jerusalem an international city. The 44th president, hence the date 4-4, and the reason for him wearing jersey number 23, this 23 years connection. Now, what is amazing is that in Bible prophecy, 50 years is extremely prophetic. And it is exactly 50 years after the official opening of the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, that collapsed on 9/11 in God's biggest judgment warning, the 9/11 events. It is exactly 50 years from from the opening of the towers to this arraignment in Manhattan of President Trump, God's trumpet that he uses to trumpet and highlight his prophetic signs. Trump is from Manhattan, for that matter, and he famously, on 9/11, called into News Channel 9 and mentioned how his tower at 40 Wall Street had become the tallest tower in Lower Manhattan. The Twin Towers were 110 stories. Joshua died at the age of 110, and he led the Hebrews around the walls of security of the ancient city of Jericho before they collapsed in God's judgment. But anyway, so we have the Trump Manhattan sign on the 50th anniversary of the official opening of the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center in Manhattan, which is in turn exactly 23 years to the World Declaration there that Jerusalem be made an international city. And that's a total of 73 years, which is also amazing because when the Hebrews marched around the walls of Jericho, they marched for 7 days, and then on the seventh day, they marched 7 times while 7 priests blew 7 trumpets, which is the three sets of 7, which God uses in his prophetic signs. And the trumpets were blown, and one long last trump was blown before the walls of security collapsed in God's judgment. In archaic English, the word trump means trumpet, or the sounding of a trumpet. And that's why Trump's presidency and his election campaign were synonymous with his border wall of security. It's a parallel with the book of Joshua and the walls of security of Jericho that collapsed in God's judgment. 73 years hints at this. 73 hints at 3 sets of 7. And so this Trump judgment sign on America, this indictment of America with this Trump sign in Manhattan, which connects prophetically, astoundingly, profoundly, to the date the world declared that Jerusalem should be made an international city. And that is, again, the big transgression of the world in the end times, for which the world will be judged, and the world will be led by the Antichrist in this effort, the 44th president, who will skip the 45th presidency, the presidency of Trump. That's what President Trump presidency essentially was a big trumpeting from God, warning of the Antichrist, the 44th president that will skip the 45th presidency. And so back to what I was saying, you would think that 9 days before the date it is predicted that a dirty bomb would explode in Manhattan, there would be a prophetic sign. Some social media sites have a maximum length for videos that can be posted, and so I need to cut this video into 2 parts. Click on the link to watch the remainder of this video. You can also find this link in the description box below this video. Make sure you watch the remainder of this extremely important video that is posted on a different channel than the one you are watching now. The link to the rest of this video is in the description box below this video. Hopefully you at least found this introduction video to be interesting, and if so, please leave a like and upvote the video, and please consider sharing the video.